Hi everybody! So today I'm coming at you with the 5 questions I ask in every class. Now, asking questions is a great way to break the ice, encourage students to start talking early on in the lesson. I always make sure to ask questions at the beginning of the lesson because it helps me gauge the students' level, not just their level in English, but their level of interest in the class we have. You know, do they give me one-word answers? Are they really shy and quiet? That's a great way to just break the ice and try and figure out those answers, and to direct how you interact with them. I ask 5 questions every time, and I change them up a little bit depending on the level of the student or their age. So here we go. So for younger students, I begin every single lesson like this. Hello! My name is Teacher Caroline. Caroline. Good. What's your name? Peter? Hello, Peter. Good. Now you'll notice that everything I say I model first. Hello. Caroline. Good. It's completely okay if they don't repeat my name. I just want to add that little bit of extra emphasis. Teacher Caroline. Sometimes they'll just call me, hello, teacher, and that's just fine. Now, if I have a shy student, or maybe they don't quite understand the question I'm asking, what is your name? I bring out my dog. Most kids I've found will know the word dog, so they get all excited. Dog, dog, like, yeah, dog. Hello, dog. Good. They get really excited. Maybe I'll make the dog wave to them. So then what I'll do is this. Caroline. Dog. What's your name? Now, sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. That's just fine. It's not a big deal. You don't want to make them feel embarrassed or awkward or to anticipate these long, awkward pauses at the beginning of the lesson. So if they don't get it then, I move on. It's just fine. So depending on how they did with what's your name, I might ask them, how are you? I like to model my responses first. I am happy to see you. I am happy. I am happy. Good. Now that they know the answer, teach them the question. How are you? I am happy. Good, very good. Now maybe they realize you're pushing for the whole phrase, I am happy. Maybe they just say, happy. That's fine. At any rate, I want them to know I'm so glad to see them. I'm happy they're here. Now, this is not a question, but if I notice that the student has glasses, or maybe they have a stuffed animal too, usually I'll say, oh, I see a dog. I like your glasses. I love putting in a little comment about what I see. Now, you really have to articulate this and use gestures. I like your glasses. Very good. Sometimes I wear glasses too, so then I can just sort of waggle them in front. Look! It helps you build rapport with the student, it makes them smile, and hopefully it makes them a little less shy to show that interest in them. Do you like soccer? Soccer? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes? Me too! High five! High five! Good job! So this is something I love to do. Again, you make a connection with the students and you introduce your reward system at the same time. And if you can get them to high five you at any point during this process, it again breaks the ice, it builds a bit of rapport, and it'll just make them more comfortable, more at ease in the classroom. Of course, it doesn't have to be soccer. Sometimes students will say, "No, I don't like soccer." So then I ask, "Do you like dogs?" And I have my magnetic dog bone reward. Or, "Do you like baseball? Do you like bananas?" I've never really used these, but hey, ring ring. The last question I like to use with younger students is, "Are you ready?" Yes. Yes. Don't give them an option, just make them say yes, and then you go, "Good, let's go." It's just a fun way to transition off of that first slide and into the proper lesson. So if I ever come across a really shy student, they're just staring, they're barely even moving, maybe the parent is prompting them, "Speak up, speak up." I want to make sure they feel comfortable right away. So the thing I always do is I bring out my dog. Maybe I don't even say anything. Maybe I don't even look at the camera. This can be very intimidating, right? So I'll just, So I'll just interact with the dog and, "Hi, hello, hi." Sometimes that makes them laugh to pretend like he's giving kisses. And sometimes the students see my stuffed animal and they get really excited and they'll run off and grab their stuffed animal. So now that's my chance to say, "Oh, dinosaur! Hi, dinosaur!" Sometimes we even give high fives with the dog, or maybe their dinosaur or whatever it is. So that's really cute. I think it makes the students laugh. I've also got this guy. But to be honest, I don't really prefer him because sometimes the students look a little scared. The dog is a bit more relatable. Although the puppet can be fun if they're really not talking. You can make them go into monster voice. "Hello." Notice how I open the mouth to sort of prompt that student to speak, so he can see his voice but in a monster. So now moving into slightly older students, maybe in the 8 to 12 years old range, the questions become a little more complicated, but still, start simple. If they don't feel intimidated by the question, they're more likely to answer. And once they start talking, they're going to keep talking. Number 1, again I say, "Hi, my name is Teacher Caroline." Caroline. What is your name? Edison? Hi, Edison. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Good. Sometimes I'll ask them, "How old are you?" This is a good way to gauge, will they give me a one-word response? Will they make it a sentence? Do they understand the question? You can understand a lot by this and see their level of motivation. I found that, ironically, The older the students get, the simpler you should start your questions with, at least the first one. Sometimes the students are too shy, maybe they're too cool for this. Sometimes it's just nice, maybe they don't have adequate confidence, maybe they're struggling in English, or it's not going very well at school, so give them a victory right off the bat. What's your name? Most of them can answer that. What did you do today? Almost always they will say, I go to school. So you notice, what did you do? I go to school. The tense changes. So that's another way again to gauge their level. And the next question I always ask is I follow up on that. So if they say, I go to school, oh, who do you see at school? So you'll notice I expand on the question, but I keep whatever tense they use. So I've changed to present tense now. Who do you see? And normally they don't know how to answer this, so I will say, do you see teacher at school? Teacher? Good. I see teacher at school. Good. As soon as you can, as much as you can, encourage them to respond in a full sentence. And that really pushes them to practice more, and that's a skill they're going to need. So the earlier they can grow confident in that, the better. I have one dear student with VIP Kid, so you may know I teach at both, and every single time I ask, Lo Ting Long, what did you do today? I play basketball. So I've learned I need to mix up my follow-up questions. Oh, who do you play basketball with? Do you play basketball at school? Who is your favorite basketball player? So again, just show them you're interested in them, you like talking with them. Now the last question is I make them read. So I'll say to myself, what is our lesson about today? Can you read? And then I'll circle on the slide the title of the lesson. All about insects. Cool. If they can read it by themselves, great. Usually I'll underline the first word, all. Make this gesture like continue. All insects. S. Good. They usually forget that S when it's plural. Make sure everything you do, praise them and take an interest in them. You play basketball at school? I love basketball. Wow, high five. If you have them read, praise their reading. Good job. I like to give them a reward right off of the bat so that they get the idea, okay, I make an effort, even minimal effort. She appreciates that. Kids need that constant feedback, that encouragement. That's going to help them feel safe and secure enough to speak up and not be afraid of making mistakes, not feel like they have to keep proving something. Now for adult learners with the free talk option, I mix it up a little bit. So the first question I ask is actually well before the lesson. As soon as I have an appointment, I like to send them a message to say, hi Sean, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for booking a class with me. What would you like to talk about? I'm happy to do any research or prepare some materials for you. The adult learners really appreciate this. So again, their parents are not making them take lessons, they are doing this independently. So show them that you are the ally and you want the same goals that they do. You want them to practice what they need to practice. I did this once with a man who told me, well, I have a 5-year-old daughter and I want to speak English as much as possible with her at home. Can you tell me certain things that American parents say to their children? Now, I am an aunt but not a parent, and so I wasn't really sure what to say, but nevertheless, I found some images, we worked on give me 5, on the side, down low, too slow, which was fun. I downloaded a PDF of a chore chart and explained maybe she'd like this. And then he told me that she doesn't do chores, which is fine, but it was an idea. And at the end, I was so happy because he actually said in his comments, best teacher ever. So yay, nice to hear that from a grown man. I always like to end it with, I'm looking forward to working with you. Keep it positive and professional. Something I found again, and you think it would be the inverse, usually as students get older, they actually become more insecure about their level. So even adult learners need that constant reassurance of, I'm looking forward to talking with you. Thank you so much for calling me. Keep it really positive and personable. How long have you been with Palfish? This is a great way to gauge their level of study, their amount of study. And it's less invasive than saying, how long have you been studying English? So I've been studying French for 10 years, but I always feel a little defensive if someone asks me, how long have you been studying French? Because immediately my mind goes to, am I making mistakes? Like, do I sound like a beginner? And I know that's not what they mean, but still, remember, older learners, just as much insecurity, if not more. So by asking, how long have you been with Palfish? Usually they'll respond, well, I've been here 2 years and I learned English in high school and college before that. So gauge their level, their comfort. Maybe they'll say, I've been here a month, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. And then you can find common goals and work together on that. And why are you learning English? Sometimes adult learners need this for very practical reasons. They have a business trip or they're taking a vacation with their family. So it's nice to know that right off the bat, you can adjust your lesson, your tone, and figure out ways to add elements of culture in there. So for example, as you sign off the lesson, if you know you're talking with a businessman, say, it was a pleasure working with you. Don't wave your hand, I'm sorry. Teacher habit. Adult learners too are typically more interested in slang and they really want to sound like a native speaker. So again, it might help you to get them to that native speaker level. If you're role-playing a job interview and they'll say something like, it is an honor of mine to meet you. Maybe you want to correct them with, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for the opportunity. That just sounds more natural to my ears. So before we begin, can I just ask you, you're speaking really well, but just in case I hear you make a mistake as we converse, would you prefer that I correct that right away, or should I make a note for later, or should we just keep conversing just to build confidence? Let me tell you, as an adult learner of a language, some days you want those corrections, but sometimes that can be discouraging if it's too much. So some days you just want to have a chat. Having a conversation is hands down the best way to accelerate your learning of a second language. So there you have it, my 5 questions that I more or less ask every single time. You'll see every single time I want to make sure we have rapport and the student feels comfortable, safe, and respected. If you liked my video, please subscribe for more content. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I love teaching, I love doing it well, and I want to make sure you can say the same. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!